everybody. Michael Zappia here. Thanks for joining us tonight live. Today is May 1st, 2024. Very excited to do this live on Zoom. We're going to be pushing this to Facebook as well. So the whole purpose of this webinar is a very informal and casual introduction to all the people that we know about something that nobody in the world knows about right now, that I think is going to be really, really exciting. And I know it's going to take off. You're going to hear about this one word I'm going to share with you right now called testosurge, T-E-S-T-O, surge, S-U-R-G-E. Testosurge. It's an active ingredient in a product called Epic Tea. You can see my hat here. You can see this bottle here. I only got about 9 of these left because I keep telling people about this just on Facebook and Instagram. And literally for the past 30 days, my phone, every single day, I call Earl Mann. He's with me right now. I call Earl every day. I go, Earl, all I do is keep putting these posts out there, and I'm getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people a day saying, hey, I don't know what you got there, but I need to try it. So anyway, just want to put this out there, everybody. We have a special interview with the man who is really the doctor, the expert here in the United States on this product, on testosurge. I'm going to introduce him here, and then we're going to share about testosurge and why you may or may not want to get on the product. And if you want to get on the product, get in touch with any one of us on the screen, and we will make that happen. So anyways, just briefly, my name's Michael Zappia. I think everyone on the line could probably do a better introduction of me than me, but I'll keep it simple. I'm an entrepreneur. I get excited about things. Since I was a little kid, whether it was a movie or a restaurant, didn't matter what it was. If I found something that I really loved, my mom, my friends would say, you got a really big mouth. And when I was little, I thought having a big mouth was a problem. You know what, Michael, that's all you do is blabber. If you had no one to talk to, you'd talk to a wall. So when I was younger, I thought that was like a bad characteristic. And when I got older, I realized it's a really good characteristic when you're talking about something that people can benefit from. I call myself a path changer. It's a word that I coined back in 2005. Many of you on the screen know what that means. To me, a path changer is somebody who intentionally, radically, and positively wants to go out there and change the paths of other people. Radically, intentionally, and positively. When I wake up every single day, that's who I am. Whether it's selling cars, I'm in the car business. And tonight's video, I forgot to tell you, is sponsored, not really, by Toyota. But I figured I'd throw it out there because that's what I do for a career right now. I got my Capstone Tundra there in my Camry. I love Toyota. Great product. And another great product you're going to hear about now. So anyway, I found out about this. My very good friend and mentor, a man who taught me 20 some odd years ago, some of the things that I still take with me today in the business world and entrepreneurial world, the power quotes, the things that he started to share with me 20 plus years ago, changed my life forever. His name is Mr. Mark Rosales. He is with us on this Zoom as well. But he started me on a path to change my life and change the way I think. And he did an incredible job. Here I am today, 20 some years later, and I've been able to positively, radically, and intentionally change the paths of many, many people in this world. And I don't say that to be braggadocious. I say that because I'm very proud of the fact that some of the things I've shared with people have helped change their life in so many ways. So let me just dive right into it. I'm going to introduce you to Dr. Tim Harrigan. That's who you want to hear from tonight. Once again, this is going to be recorded and it'll be out there for everyone to review because so many people are calling me. I just don't have time to talk about the science. And quite frankly, I don't know the science, and that's why Dr. Tim is here. Dr. Tim is a chiropractic physician. Dr. Tim is a functional medicine expert guru. Dr. Tim happens to have the most immaculate office I've ever seen in my entire life. Matter of fact, I challenge all of you to go get tested in Tucson, Arizona, and go meet my new doctor and my new friend, Dr. Tim Harrigan. His office, Tim, I didn't even tell you about this. It's beautiful. He's got positive affirmations and Tony Robbins quotes and Gandhi quotes all over his walls. He's got a meticulous shelf of supplements that are all of the highest grade. And he's got machinery and equipment to help heal people's bodies. And I just got a lot of newfound respect for the man. Number one, because he's helping me on my health journey to get healthy. I had a heart attack about 1.5 years ago. Mr. Rosales told me about Dr. Tim. It was a matter of time before I made my way to Tucson. And about 30 plus days ago, made my way to Tucson. I got blood tested, saliva tested, and a bunch of tests. I didn't even know what they were doing to me, but he's got his eyes on all my numbers. And actually, I'm coming back there in a couple weeks, Dr. Tim, to test again. And then we're going to do it in 45 days. But Dr. Tim, you are the expert. You are the guru when it comes to so many things, but especially what we're here to talk about today, which is TestaSurge, which is Epic T. Can you enlighten everybody and share a little bit about your story and a little bit about your experience with this company and a lot about the science, the clinical studies, and what you're passionate about here? I figure I'll just set you free. Take it away, sir.
Sure. Thank you, Michael, and good to meet everybody. I have so much information in my brain. I'm going to try to keep it simple and not throw up information on you, but it's going to seem that way. I guess you can watch the recording again if you want to. But I'm like Michael, I want to help people. And so my tools and my practice, I've learned to source the best things on earth because this is how I take care of myself, my family. My wife was told she would never have children. We have 4 children, 13 to 8 years old now. Not one of them have had a Tylenol, NyQuil, antibiotic, you name it, in their body. And that's what we live and breathe in our practice. I'm obsessed with human physiology and cause and effect. I don't like medications. They're the 4th leading cause of death, in fact, in our traditional medical system. No offense to any doctors, but it's a fact now that our healthcare system is the 3rd cause of death. So there's absolutely a time and place for those things, but heart disease and cancer are right above those as well. So that's my obsession, really, is the top 4 killers, and to just always try to be the strongest person in the room. I had that goal a long time ago. I want to be the most capable person in the room. When you have daughters, you understand that comment. But it's my goal to keep myself just bulletproof, just as healthy as possible, so I can hang out with my grandkids, great grandkids one day. And so that's what our practice is designed around. We do lots of tests. I love tests and facts. I don't like the traditional methods to fix those things, which they never fix them, by the way. So my wife, PCOS, endometriosis, told she'd never have kids, proved that wrong. So this is what we do all day long in practice, 10,000 patients later. So Michael, if you can share my screen or allow me to co-host here. I met this company through Mark as well. And these guys are incredible. One of the few geniuses I've ever met, Mr. Sunil, he's the founder of all this. And he just started with really the same goal as Michael and I. And I think Earl, the little I know about you, Earl, he wants to help people. And he set out 30 years ago to create the safest drugs on earth because everybody was dying from drugs even 30 years ago, from the Vioxxes, the Avandias, all these properly prescribed drugs. It's the 4th cause of death. And I'll be brave enough to say it's got to be the #1 cause of death. Because when you understand statistics, the British Medical Journal, out of their own mouth, the Biblical Medical Journal, they consider that as fact. They say that only 1% of all adverse drug reactions are actually reported or reported properly. So we'll call it the #1 killer based on that statistic. So my obsession is to find other solutions. So Sunil set out 30 years ago to create safe drugs. And he got so fed up with the FDA, all the red tape, the expenses, to try to get these plant-based molecules as safe drugs. And so he says, to hell with you guys, I'm going to create the safest, most powerful plant molecules and plant supplements or Ayurvedics the world has ever seen. And they've done that. So I met them and I had to be a part of it. And so you guys have heard of Nugenix. Nugenix is a pretty big brand. They're everywhere. You've seen infomercials. If you haven't heard of them, you've heard of them. They are absolutely everywhere. And so they have the old version of what we have now, which is really exciting. If they sell 10 to 20 million bottles globally per month, it's got to work to some degree, right? To do that. Now they've spent 20 years doing that and they're everywhere. And actually they're, no offense to Nugenix, they're a mess. They have, I hear they're cutting some of their product, putting lesser dosages. So if I'm quoting a study I will do shortly on 500 milligrams of TestaSurge has these absolute effects in the body based on clinical studies. You guys see this all the time with companies. They quote studies, they quote research or maybe testosterone information or estrogen, and then they try to sell their product based on information that has nothing to do with their product. So understand all of these studies are done on our molecules, okay? So that's pretty cool. And they're DNA authenticated, NSF certified, whatever certification clinical studies anybody would ever want, whether you're a doctor, patient, whatever. We have all of that. And so our job is very challenging now. We want to get this out to the world the right way through mainly doctors, maybe practitioners, but we don't want this sitting on a shelf at GNC. It's not going to do it justice. What you're going to learn here shortly will blow your mind. And my hardest job is to get you to understand what I'm saying is absolutely zero hype. This is all fact. I only do fact, even though I get excited. And it's just going to blow your mind. This is something that every 16 or older man and woman on earth would absolutely benefit from. Hormones are the feel-good molecules. So we start to balance those and block the bad conversions that happen that lead to breast cancer, prostate issues. It's pretty exciting. You'll understand. You'll want to share this with everybody you know, because cancer is the #2 killer. If we just stop the estrogen conversion in our body, we have clinical studies showing it'll do that. That's a good thing. I'll have my daughters take it forever because of that. So I'm going to share my screen here. Let me just cover my butt real quick because I might say some things that seem claimy, but everything is fact here. I can give you all the clinical studies. Michael can give those to you. We can have more calls in the future. We're not here to sell you something and leave you hanging. That is not what this is about. So this is meant for informational purposes only. Talk to your doctor before making any changes. Nothing in here is designed to prevent, diagnose, or treat, or cure anything, okay? Now that that's out of the way, let's get after it here. So the U.S. allows over 14,000 chemical additives to our food supply. So whether you think you're taking hormones or not, or hormone disruptors, we all are. We're getting bombarded by them, in fact. And so we consume our body weight in these chemicals per year. I have to paint the picture of the problem first, guys, because I mean, we have a really cool product and formula that's going to change a lot of lives, but you have to understand the context first. So we went over this. Drugs are the 4th leading cause of death. These things are in our cosmetics, food, beverages, tap water. You cannot avoid them now. It's absolutely unavoidable. So we need an antidote to fight these things that we're all exposed to in the air. Literally everything we're doing, you guys, everything we're putting on our skin, our cleaning products, they're absolutely everywhere, okay? So you can actually look at your drinking water in your municipal area. They test the water. You'll find estrogen, all kinds of crazy things. So people are like, I don't take birth control. It's like, well, sure you do. It's never been harder in history to get pregnant with men and women than it is now, okay? So this was a cool study. This is very important because most people, they hear the word hormones, they think they know what they're talking about. And it's like, oh yeah, I did TRT, or, I did HRT. Here's the scary side effects of that. I'm going to go over some of that because understand the research we have. We'll talk about testosterone, energy, all these different variables that men and women need. More women, honestly, if you listen really closely. But this was a 2002 report that came out. It basically showed that HRT was harmful, okay? So after that report, there's about 200,000 cases of breast cancer diagnosed before that, and 14,000 fewer cases in 2003, because that's how many people stopped their birth control. There was 14,000 less women in 1 year by stopping birth control after that report came out. I haven't seen that report since. Where did it go? We all know the media is controlled by the big pharma. It's all a big mess. And so what we're told and what we think we know has really been fed to us. I think a lot of us on here understand that. So here's just a third-party evaluation of these drugs. Premarin, a lot of women have heard of these drugs, birth control, estradiol, menopause drugs. Well, guess what? I've never been told this before. No woman ever that I know has been told this. They have an FDA black box warning on them. This isn't the solution to what I'm talking about. FDA black box warning means that you should never take these in any situation, no matter the situation at all, but they're still prescribing them. That doesn't make sense to me. So low testosterone in women is more important. Men will just understand this. So I want to focus on the women a little bit. Men all know we need testosterone, but the scary fact is women, your estrogen levels throughout your whole life, 0 to 100, are far lower than your testosterone levels throughout your whole life. It is the more dominant hormone your whole life. There's not an exception to that unless there's a medical condition or something. But anybody on here, men and women, depressed, memory issues, foggy brain, low energy, stamina, sex drive, hair loss. Everybody we know has these problems, right? And they don't realize, oh, I'm going to take magnesium, or I'm going to go take this glutathione product. I'm not against those things, but you have to work on the master system first for everything else to work after that. That's how important this is. So menopause, andropause, this is based on our lifestyle. everything we're doing, eating, exercise or lack thereof, lack of sleep. You can always go back to some of these slides. I have a lot in here, but I want to kind of get to the point too. So you can rewind, rewatch. So testosterone, this molecule is incredible. Remember, this is the next generation of what Nugenics is using. And I bet Nugenics wish they had this, right? We get to get this out to the world. That's why it's fairly new, but it's over 5 years. Nugenics has a molecule called testofen. That's about 20 years old. They discovered it. It works pretty good. So if you look at the bottom left here, basically how this works is when you take this at night, it binds to where you would usually lose your own testosterone to, okay? So if in the morning I release 100, men and women, we all do this, you release 100, 60 of it might go over here to this bond where you don't get it back. It's called SHBG. So if I have 100 and I lose 60, I only have 40 left. That's not good. Two other things it can convert to is estrogen. So I'll take that 40 and 10 of it goes to estrogen. Well, now I have 30 left. That's not good. And another 10 might go to dihydrotestosterone. That's not good either. Now I'm left with 20 out of my 100. That's not fair. I don't want that. No wonder I'm low energy, right? So this molecule is going to do what the Nugenics product does in the regard to optimizing your testosterone. Remember, we're not giving you testosterone. Understand that point very well. Those are dangerous. We're going to go over those shortly. We don't want to give your body something it produces. Guess what happens? If you give your body melatonin, some people don't like to hear that, but hydrochloric acid, like a digestive enzyme, or estrogen or testosterone, anything your body produces, and you give it to your body, my brain says I have enough of that thing. Those organs stop producing that thing. Those organs get even weaker faster now. Use it or lose it. This is going to optimize and actually crank up your machinery so you start producing more of what it needs in a safe way. So it's steroidogenic. So don't let that word scare you. Steroidogenic simply means if you exercise more starting tomorrow, your body's in a more steroidogenic state, right? You're going to manufacture hormones differently. Food does that. So this is going to optimize your own testosterone levels 3 times better than Nugenics, by the way, just that one mechanism. But now I'm going to leave Nugenics alone because that's all theirs does. It helps optimize your testosterone 1/3 of what ours does, okay? So the next thing it does, it's steroidogenic, as I mentioned, but it's also spermatogenic in men. Not women. Don't think you're going to start producing sperm, women. This is basically, we have different parts, but they're kind of synergistic and, comparable at the same time, right? So we're just different, but we all need these hormones. We all need optimization of all of our hormones. It's also a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor. This is a whole drug category that is designed to stop my testosterone from converting to dihydrotestosterone. That's all they do. Guess what? They're dangerous drugs, but that's the one mechanism they have. Well, this is also an aromatase inhibitor. A lot of women have heard of these. These are commonly prescribed to prevent breast cancer. They're prescribed after cancer to stop my body from converting my own testosterone to estrogen. Guess what? Those have black box warnings as well. Okay. It's also a PDE5 inhibitor. Guys, understand, I just mentioned 6 mechanisms we can prove to you through clinical studies that this one molecule does. I just replaced 6 drug categories in my life with a safe plant molecule if I choose to do so. Get your doctor's advice, of course. All right, so I'm going to keep this fairly simple. I don't want to get too sciencey here, but I mentioned to you, we lose testosterone to this bond called SHBG. So instead, when I take 1 or 2 capsules of Testosurge at night, it binds to this for me. That's pretty cool because now when I release my 100, I have 100 now. It's an optimizer. It's an equalizer. It's not going to boost it. If you take 10 of them a day for the next 3 months, you're not going to go up too high, right? It's a safe plant that it's going to do what it's designed to do or not do what it's not designed to do. So that's simply how it works. It's going to improve my testosterone. This is the study. We can get those studies to you. I don't want to bore you with that discussion, but we have all of the things that I'm mentioning to you. We can provide that to you. These slides are slow, Michael, sorry. So what happens is not just increasing my overall testosterone, right? I don't want just a really high number. In fact, I can get somebody, Michael, if they're 100, really low number, feeling better than somebody that's at 1,000. You would think more is better. No, better is better. How much of their 1,000 is actually free testosterone? That's the key. That's what's going to make men and women feel good or not, have lack of memory or not, sleep well. It's all about the free testosterone. This will absolutely increase your bioavailable and your free testosterone. Women, you're not going to turn manly. In fact, it's going to reverse some of those manly features women have, because those are conversions. We don't want those things. This is going to inhibit the bad things that might come along with that. In fact, if somebody's on TRT, man and women now, they need this even more, because we want to stop those bad things that we know are occurring by forcing this hormone on the body. So it's going to increase your total free and bioavailable testosterone. So this is a chart just showing free testosterone. Women, this is very important for you, more important than any of your other, maybe hormone replacement therapy or, birth control that you've ever maybe been on or considered, because this is the driver. We all think estrogen is the driver. It's not the driver. Too much of it causes problems. Not enough of it causes problems as well. So we also have a clinical study on TestoSurge. Over 8 weeks, you will absolutely improve your body composition. Lower fat, more muscle. Weight loss programs are dangerous, right? Most people lose water, muscle, and bone. So I hate the word weight loss, by the way. It's fat loss. We really want fat loss. I don't want to lose weight. I don't want to lose 10 pounds of muscle and bone and water. That's not good. So this is going to help somebody on a diet, so to speak, right? On a program where they're eating healthier. Maybe they're not moving as much as they should, but the hormones are going to allow me to maintain my lean muscle during that dangerous program potentially, because a lot of people are doing some crazy stuff, as we know. So if I was to give you TRT, this is a medication, right? I don't care if it's bioidentical or not, your brain shuts down. And now I need all this other stuff, because guess what? Too much testosterone causes problems. Acne, it actually causes impotence in some men because it's too much. And now I have all these conversions happening. And then I need Rogaine because I start losing my hair, and I need a prostate drug because my prostate gets inflamed. It's not a good option, you guys, but it's an easy option, and it's available everywhere now. And trust me, it's hard to talk somebody out of that, because they're going to feel good for a period of time, but they shorten their lifespan by forcing the body to do that. So the DHT, remember I talked about testosterone converting to dihydrotestosterone. We want to stop that because it leads to PCOS in women. Everybody's heard of fibroids. Okay, prostate cancer in men, BPH, hair loss. A lot of women have hair loss. It's hormone related. So high testosterone causes more conversion to DHT. Now, these drugs for DHT inhibition, they're dangerous. You can actually lose your vision on Viagra's. You can lose your hearing on Viagra. It's like, okay, I can't see or hear, but at least my thing works now, right? It's absolutely insane. When you look at these drugs, it's like, who in their right mind would actually do this if they actually had true informed consent? Not many people would. Well, ironically, these drugs are designed for enlarged prostate. They prescribe them in this situation. One of the side effects is enlarged prostate from this drug. It doesn't make sense, right? So I'm going to beat up medicine a lot because it is the fourth killer. Nobody on here is a drug, so I think I'm not making fun of anybody. So I want people to realize too, all these mechanisms I'm talking about, you're already eating foods that do these things. That's the cool thing about it. Don't let these medical terms scare you and the hormone names scare you. Every day you're eating foods that either help DHT or hurt it or create more. Every day you're eating foods that either hurt estrogen or help it, right? We're doing this already. So understand that's how safe it is. Your food's already doing this. So we can give you the studies showing those inhibitors of estrogen and DHT. This is important. This is that drug category that stops my testosterone converting to estrogen. They're called aromatase inhibitors. That's all they're designed to do, to stop that one mechanism, okay? Because it causes this. I'm going to leave the C word out of this, but you guys can put it together. Androgens convert to bad things in lots of tissues, but especially the breast. So those drugs are designed to just stop that right there. It's called an aromatase inhibitor. Well, TestoSurge has been clinically studied to be an aromatase inhibitor as well. Those drugs also have FDA black box warnings. Again, you're eating foods all day long, every day, that are either helping or hurting this, right? Most of us don't have a perfect diet, so we're always feeding this system of conversion to DHT and estradiol or estrogen. So we want to stop those. So that's why I'll give it to my 13-year-old daughter for the rest of her life now, because it's going to help her. Her foods are already doing that, right? It's just common sense. There's nothing in here that's dangerous. You don't have to get tested first. It is a supplement. Some people want to get tested just to confirm what we already know it's going to do. That's fine too. It's kind of fun to do that. That's what I do in practice all day long. But these drugs everybody's familiar with. Ironically, the female Viagra on the left is actually not designed as a PDE5 inhibitor. The Pfizer, right, we all know this one, that is a PDE5 inhibitor. Remember, TestoSurge is also a PDE5 inhibitor. So I just help the whole male population out here, right? Hopefully prevent, delay, or never have this happen or bring it back. We had a 70-year-old male friend, hasn't woken up with, excuse me, ladies, morning wood in 20 years. He's waking up with morning wood again, and he can't stop talking about it, unfortunately. So those are the things that happen in our body as we bring balance safely to the body. Now, ironically, a D is the female version of Viagra. It has nothing to do with how the male Viagra works, by the way. It actually focuses on brain function. So Epic T actually has 2 nootropics in it. We're seeing changes in women. So how many men on here are like, I need to get my wife on this. This is the safe way to help bring that back over time, because that's a hormone balance conversation. So those PDE5 inhibitors, they just stop this from happening in the cells, right? Increased blood flow. That's what we all want. Vasodilation. That's what a PDE5 inhibitor is. Testasurge is clinically studied to be a PDE5 inhibitor. Okay. You guys have heard of some of these names. They're everywhere. You can order them online, it looks like now. I mean, these drugs are just being handed out like candy, and it's the 4th cause of death, if that gives you an idea. So you might lose your hearing and your vision, but no big deal. I can get an erection now. Great. So female Viagra also has some very deceiving marketing. We don't see this in the mainstream news, right? This is a do not use drug from third parties. They say there's far more harm than any sort of benefit with a woman using these. Nobody's ever been told that I know of. These are also foods, by the way, that help everything I just talked about. The PDE5 inhibitors, all of these foods are kind of doing that in the body a little bit already. So of course we should clean up our diet. Of course we should move more if we're not. So sperm counts, men, we have the lowest sperm counts in history. It's an epidemic. I heard Earl Mann say that earlier. Absolutely an epidemic of hormone issues, low energy, foggy brain, Alzheimer's, which is type 3 diabetes, which guess what? Insulin's a hormone. Do you think that would be affected by improving my other master hormones? Absolutely. So again, we're already eating foods that do that are spermatogenic in men. And I'll talk about 2 other chemical names. So Testasurge is, I don't want to get into it too much, but they're called glycosides. That's the molecule that's doing all those things I talked about. There's 2 other molecules. One's called apigenin and luteolin. These are the ones that are going to help steroidogenesis. That's pretty cool. So now that person that's 100 versus the guy that's 1,000, that's why I can get him feeling better than the guy that's at 1,000 on TRT. Talk to the guy on TRT with 1,000. He's angry. He can't get it up sometimes. He's foggy brain. He doesn't feel good most of the time because we're forcing a change on the body. This is going to manufacture more in my body. Steroidogenic means it's going to take that 100. It will absolutely bring it up to healthier levels over time. So it's a marathon, though. Understand, don't take this for a month. I talk my patients out of that. It's like, oh, I'll try it out. It's like, no, we're done trying things out. We've compared this to everything in the world. This is the next generation of what Nugenics is using. There's no more trying. We have the clinical studies we can share everybody. There's no more trying. This is something you commit to, get labs done if you want, but 4, 5, 6 months later, took me 6 months to feel it, honestly, but like Earl Mann, I do a lot of good things for my body already. I was doing labs. I saw those improving. I didn't feel significantly different though, but now I can do, Michael, 300 pull-ups a week. I spend 50 minutes. It's the most boring workout in the world. I do 3 pull-ups every 30 seconds. I've never been able to do that, not when I was 20 years old. So that's my personal testimony, but we get them every day. Some people feel it in a week, but do not do this if you're not committed for several months, because some things are subtle. People are like, I ask my patients questions like, okay, you've been on it 3 months. You don't feel anything. Well, how's your sleep? Oh, come to think of it, I guess my sleep's better. Yeah, I'm sleeping deeper. I don't need as much sleep to be rested. How are your workouts? Oh yeah, I guess I did my hour workout the other day and I could have gone 2 hours. I wasn't tired after it. So those are the subtle things. Remember, we're not forcing it on the body like morphine. Morphine works in 15 minutes. TRT works quickly. HRT works quickly, but it doesn't work quickly, right? You get symptomatic relief quickly while it essentially poisons your body. So this is steroidogenic. These are steroidogenic foods as well. These will actually help your body manufacture more over time. There's a study for that. So this is a big problem. And this is what Earl Mann mentioned earlier. This is an epidemic. All chronic disease is linked to your driver molecule that we call testosterone. Men and women 16 above, every human on earth would absolutely benefit from doing this, especially when you saw all those hormone disruptors that we've been fighting against our whole life. How's that, Michael?
That was incredible. That was incredible. Guys, did you guys enjoy that? Everybody enjoy that? Awesome. Dr. Tim, I know you have plans, but I know this is the first of many times we're going to gather together, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. And if we have some questions, I got a few more minutes. So